Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Sion and I'm a Shin Megami Tensei speedrunner. This video guide is to specifically help with negotiations, which can be the hardest part of the speedrun, and in general of your Shin Megami Tensei playthrough. Demon recruitment is a key feature of Shin Megami Tensei games. How they function and which characteristics influence the result of these negotiations change from game to game, and in SMT1 these are the species of the demon, your alignment, yours and the demon's level, the moon, and you can also say your inventory and which resources you have, like your money and your magnetite, also influence the result. So first off, I'm going to be explaining what entails in demon negotiations and what stops you from being able to recruit demons, and then I'll be breaking down demon negotiations and how they're supposed to go. So there are two different types of alignments in most SMT games in all of the mainline, which are chaos, neutral, and law, and dark, neutral, and light. The first ones are defined by the demon itself, but the latter are defined by the species, and the dark aligned species are demons that can't be recruited at all. So talking to dark aligned demons is inconsistent and usually a waste of time. In some cases, talking to dark aligned demons can save you time. Talking to Yakuzas when you're underleveled will make them attack you immediately and waste you time, but if you're overleveled, then they will be the ones running away, so that definitely saves you time and saves you bothering with them. However, most of the time in your playthrough, you should try to defeat dark aligned demons, because you can recruit them anyways. You should fight them for experience, and most importantly, they usually drop good amounts of magnetite and money. So if you're low on resources, they are the ones to aim for. Your own alignment also affects which demons you can recruit. If you are chaos aligned, then you can only recruit chaos and neutral aligned demons, and if you're law aligned, you can only recruit law and neutral aligned demons. In the Super Famicom speedrun, we spent the entire recruiting section in neutral, so this isn't really relevant, but in a PSX and GBA speedrun, which still use the old route, that get Sith and have to get a Messian for that matter, you need to be neutral in order to recruit humans like the Messians and Gains, who will never join if you are the opposite alignment of theirs, but will join if you are neutral. There's a limited number of negotiation options for recruitments, which change depending on your level and if the demon is considered a female demon. Dark demons also have a different dialogue option, but these are irrelevant in terms of recruitment as they will never join. Best case scenario, they will leave awarding you with money, magnetite, or an item. The best way to tell if a demon is recruitable, without using a guide that is through negotiating with them. If they're higher level, they usually speak in a condescending or patronizing way. If they're in the range to be recruited, they will generally try to test your strength or ask something of you or even flirt with you. As you might imagine, the dialogue options that I'll be analyzing are only for demons that are in the recruitable range, and the demons that I'll be showing are only the demons that we recruit in the speedrun, even though the dialogue options are similar for all of the demons of those types, which are demons who aren't female whose level are below yours. In the speedrun, the only times you'll possibly encounter the higher level dialogue options is if you accidentally talk to a Dryad without having hit level 12, so they're not really worth fussing over. The demons you need to recruit for the speedrun are Pyrojack, Goblin, Imp, or Gamijin, or Kobold, these three are interchangeable, Azumi, Dryad, and Sith. Generally, you're just going to be looking for the demons as you go along the speedrun, but if at any point you have to grind for them, the best way to do so is to go back and forth in doorways, which increases the encounter rate. Pyrojack, Goblin, and Kobold spawn in the Shinjuku Underground Mall, in Ozawa's Lair, and in the Tokyo Government Office. So at the point you're leaving Shinjuku with the heroine, you need to have these two, that is Pyrojack and Goblin, recruited, and Kobold is optional because you can still exchange him for another demon. Imp and Gamijin spawn in these three areas that I just mentioned, but they also spawn in Goto's lair. So if you go to Goto's lair and you still need to recruit one of these, you can recruit them along with Azumi, which only spawns in Goto's lair. Dryad spawns in Ozo's lair, but also spawns in the American Embassy. So if you've left Shinjuku with heroine and you still don't have a Dryad, you can still get her at the American Embassy, along with Sith, which only spawns there. Never try to recruit Pyrojack or Imp if they're in hordes of 3 or more, or Azumi if they're in hordes of 5 or more, because if they start attacking you out of nowhere, they will definitely kill you. The better option is, if you want to play it a little more safe, to kill a couple of those numbers to reduce them to 1 or 2 or 3 if they're Azumis, and then start negotiating. Don't try to recruit Gamijin until you have gotten heroine, as he can charm you, and then if you are charmed, you're going going to just start killing your entire party. Only go for Kobold if you're going for a really good time, as you need to have a good handle on moon cycles, and you won't have a backup fighter when you're fighting Red Phantom. So the first option in negotiations are to go friendly or to go threatening. To recruit, always choose friendly, but when you're trying to shoo away demons that appeared and were not planned to appear in a certain area, like when you forget to Estoma, then choose threatening. The best advice I can give when it comes to recruitment is to always stick to doing the same thing, so you can do the same thing over and over again until it becomes muscle memory. Sometimes choosing a fast option that might fail 50% of the time, which forces you to auto to then skip over a turn, is still a better option than mid-run trying something different, like choosing threatening or choosing a different option that you don't usually choose, which might result in the demon escaping, which wastes a lot more time, or them attacking you out of nowhere and killing you. During actual negotiations, avoid giving away items, because most of the time you won't have it. Just say no. If you say no, they're less likely to try and beat you up. Always calm down demons in risk of them leaving if you choose give up. If you do get a lifestone though, try to keep that in mind so that if a demon demands it, you can give it away. That usually results in them just joining. Same thing if you get a bead. If they ask for a bead, just give it away, it doesn't matter. And feel free to give money, as most of the time you will get enough money throughout the run that you won't need to bother with it. With that being said, let's get on to analyzing the negotiation strategies. Starting off with Pyrojack, Goblin, Imp, Gamlin, Kobold, and Azumi, which are the majority of the demons you'll be recruiting. So there are always two types of strategies. There are the options that will consistently get you to the screen, where you can ask them for money, magnetite, to leave, or for them to join, and then the negotiation starts. Or there are strategies that will, if you're lucky, get them to join right away, but usually are more risky and might result in them attacking you instead. So first off, I'll be breaking down the ones that lead you to the negotiation screen, like for example the most common one, which is they laugh at you, you laugh back, they say something, you calm them down. This usually leads you to the ask them to join option, and is perhaps the most consistent dialogue path that you can take ever. If in the first option you ignore them, this usually leads to a screen that has an option that will always make them leave, which is very useful to keep in mind when you're trying to send them away, but not at all something you want to get when you're trying to get them to join you. If instead of calming them down you choose to keep laughing at them, many times that will result in the same thing, you getting to the ask them to join option, but sometimes they'll attack you instead, so I usually rather choose the calm down option. The thing with calm them down is that usually an extra screen will pop up where they are angry at you, and the two options are to attack them or to calm them down again, and you just choose to calm them down again, and that leads you to the screen you want to get to. Another pattern is them asking you something and the options to lower your weapon or to smile pop up. If you lower your weapon, you want to then get close to them. This has a chance of them joining you instantly, but most of the time they'll attack you. So if you really want to go for a good time and you want to take all the risks, just choose that consistently. But believe me, there are some demons that will immediately kill you if you try to do that, so be wary of that option. If on the other hand you choose to smile, then the two options to sing or to persuade will pop up. If you sing and that goes well, that will always lead you to the ask them to join option. If you sing and it goes badly, they will leave. On the other hand, if you persuade, that will fail 90% of the time, but it will restart the negotiation without you having to skip over a turn. So sometimes it's preferable to do that and get to a dialogue path that's better, instead of taking the chance of them leaving on you. When it comes to the act unfazed or battle stance options, act unfazed will generally lead them to attack you more often, but can lead you automatically to the ask them to join screen. On the other hand, battle stance might lead to a screen that has you calm them down or attack them. Obviously you choose calm them down in that option. The problem with the battle stance screen is that it might lead them to run away immediately or to attack you. So usually I choose act unfazed. I'm not sure if it's a faster option, but it's more of a personal choice at that point. As for the options that will have them join instantly, usually there's something like humans are hopeless, right? Or hey, do you have a girlfriend? And there's a yes or no option after. Always choose yes, and the three options that can happen is they'll join instantly, they'll say they don't trust you, or they'll attack, which is not as likely for them to attack. Even if that happens, it's still worth risking because them joining you instantly saves so much time and isn't even that rare, so just go for it. The specifications that I just mentioned are for Pyrojack, Goblin, Imp, Gamlin, Kobold, and Azumi. These are always the patterns that will show up for them. But for Azumi specifically, I have to mention that at that point you'll have heroin in your party, so when you're trying to skip over a turn, you'll have to manually defend twice because heroin has a weapon and she will kill 2 Azumis per auto, so please be careful to not accidentally auto and kill the demon they are trying to recruit. That happens a lot and it is awful, so you just need to remember that when heroin is in your party, you can auto without having defended first. After you've defended one turn, then auto will automatically assume defend as a pattern you want to repeat, so beware. Now Q-Sith has similar patterns showing up for it, but the actions that you need to take are slightly more different, because Q-Sith itself is a demon that spawns a lot less compared to other demons, and you really want it to not run away, so you don't want to risk it running away at all. So in terms of the laughing back and calming them down pattern, just do the same thing as usual. Calming them down will not have them run away. When the smile lower your weapon pattern shows up, always choose smile persuade, never sing, as that has an option of sending them away. You can also choose the lowering your weapon and getting close option, as Q-Sith aren't very strong, so they won't really kill you and it has a chance of them joining instantly. When it comes to the act Unfazed battle stance, always choose act Unfazed, as battle stance has a chance of them running away on you, even though generally it might lead to the ask them to join option more often. Now Dryad is a female demon, so just like I mentioned earlier, it has different dialogue options showing up. Every single time the option you want to see is say your name or identify yourself, or in Japanese, nanoru. This option will always lead them to the ask them to join screen, so you always want to look for this one. When the options that show up are smile or threaten, choose smile and then get close. There's a tiny probability that this will lead you to ask them to join, but most of the time it will lead them to attack you. But Dryads are very weak, they will not kill you, and that lets you restart the negotiation and look for the identify yourself option. Sometimes they'll ask you if you love demons. It's a yes or no question, just say yes. And if your intelligence is high enough, which it will be, it will lead to the ask them to join automatically. Dryads should be the easiest demons to recruit. You just have to follow this pattern of looking for the identify yourself, or for them to ask them if you love demons, and get to the ask them to join and just give away everything you have and they will join easily. If you practice with all of this advice in mind, then slowly you'll get a lot more used to it. You'll start getting muscle memory, you'll get used to the dialogue lines, and you'll know what to do. And before you know it, the negotiation section will be something that you're looking forward to and is fun in the speedruns and not an actual nightmare. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more negotiation or SMT1 questions, just leave them in the comments below. If you want to see my speedruns, follow my Twitch channel. But other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.